right? We got Tony. I love the name, right? Tony, right? From Chicago. That's the funny thing, right? Tony from Chicago.
Right, Tony. You got to say, I got to put that weird, hey, Tony, I'm from
Yeah,
Chicago.
Tony. Yeah.
Yeah, hey, Tony.
We got Tony from Spillage, the bad Spillage, man. And I just heard your guys' stuff this weekend. I've been trying to catch up to all the metal stuff from Ben from Online Metal Promo, which is great. Everybody's been great, and I finally got to you guys. I think I was supposed to have you guys on season 2, but we're at season 3 now. Spillage, man, the new album that came out not too long ago, right? It came out.
September 8th. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, just fresh, the phase 4, which is brand new. I gotta say, I love the album. It's great, classic stuff mixing with some new stuff, with a modern sound. My favorite song on the album is probably Nail Biter.
Ah,
And yeah, Nail Biter and Love and Alchemy. That's those. I was in the gym and I was like, oh yeah, I'm loving it.
right, right. So you like that really drop tone one and
Hey,
that upbeat, yeah, yeah. Nailbiter was the single. That was the first thing that we had released. It was written musically by Nick Bozadarvich, or the guitar player, and as I have mentioned, he had brought that into rehearsal, and I'm telling you, man, within 3 seconds, boom, I was like, that's our new single. I was
yeah,
like, that's going to be the hit. So
yeah,
and it has. It's gotten some great response all over the world. I couldn't be more happy, So
yeah.
so
No,
yeah,
and
yeah. And Love and Alchemy, that's a tune musically that I had wrote. All of the lyrics are written by Elvin Rodriguez. That crazy little Puerto Rican cat with the smile all the time. You just gotta love that dude. I'm just saying. But yeah, no, that's a low drop tune. It's really eerie, and with the big choir and stuff. So yeah,
yes, yeah. And that was the thing, is that when I heard the keyboards, I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Because I'm thinking, okay, these guys got the classic sound a little bit, right? With a modern tone. But then the keyboards came in, which is Paul, right? Paul, your keyboardist
yeah,
came in.
Paul around, yeah,
And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. You guys just went to a different universe, man, which is
yeah,
great, which is great. But,
right on.
I mean, talk to me about the band. How did the band really come about, right? Because this is kind of a unique sound that you guys got. Talk to me about that.
Well, I appreciate that. Matt, we've been getting that type of a sediment around. This is phase 4. It's our fourth record, and we're kind of a bunch of seasoned musicians, if you want to
I
call
got
it
you.
that.
I got you.
But
Yeah.
we come from that '70s riff rock era, and so we've been getting that. There's not a category you like to put us in, or we don't sound like something. And that's been kind of a little bit of a badge of honor for us. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But to give you kind of a little bit of a background on that, though, Matt, is I had played in like Earth and Grey prior to this with Rachel Barton Pine, is a real famous violinist from Chicago
Yeah.
here, and Ron Holzer, and then being my background, working with Trouble in the old days, heavy metal Trouble stuff. Um, but what I really was after creating Spillage was that heavy riff rock band, I mean, where you just can't help
Yeah.
but stomp. Chris Martin's our drummer, the world's largest garden gnome guy. He calls it the Spillage Stomp,
The
and I love that,
Spillage Stomp.
right?
Interesting.
I mean, because
Interesting.
like once when we're going, it's like it's stomping and it's you know. But so that's basically where it started for me. Is I really wanted to recreate that heavy '70s, riff rock stuff, like Foghat and you know,
Classic. The
Black
classic.
Sabbath, Judas Priest, that '70s. What I'm saying, UFO. I mean
Yeah.
those classics. But we wanted to continue to evolve, and make it so. And maybe that's where the keyboards and that, maybe a little prog within there, you
That's
know.
the best word to describe it, because that was one of the things that I was trying to find. Usually I try to find an association with like a word when it comes to a band, right? And not to put you guys in a corner or anything.
Sure.
It's just more of like, hey, like how can I associate this band, right? And I couldn't find something for you guys, right? Maybe prog, I want to say progressive, a little bit of both, right? But you guys have a really good sound to this, to where it is like a Yes, or that, and maybe even like a Rush a little bit, right?
Well,
Like,
I was majorly influenced on Kansas, and in the
okay.
'70s, a Kansas thing. Really intrigued with the three-part harmony stuff.
Yeah.
Because with the keyboard player and the two guitar players, the three treble clef instruments. I did the blew my brain out a few times trying to write these three-part harmonies. It becomes mathematical things, like because I couldn't get sleep at night and shit. I started freaking out. It's like,
Yeah, no, it's
oh,
tough, man. Those guys,
yeah,
nobody could touch those guys, right? Like Boston, Kansas, that type of style, right? It's hard to write now, especially nowadays, right? It's classic stuff, But you guys do a really good job, and bringing, like I said, that old school style with a metal, more a modern touch to it, right? Where you're like, hey, you know what? Let's respect the past and honor what we have right now. You know what I
right.
mean? And that's why I was saying songs like Love and Alchemy. It was the chorus was such an old school chorus. That was something like maybe like a Kiss, something like a very extended, big arena rock chorus. Where I was like, dude,
Okay.
this is great. This is great. Yeah,
Well, you know what I say, and it's I'm full of cliches. When you live as long as I have, Matt, you start coming up with weird shit.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I keep saying, well, we're not trying to recreate the wheel. You know what I
yeah,
mean? But we want to put our own spin on it to
yeah.
coin the phrase. You know what I mean? So that's what spillage is. I mean, it's going to go around. But we pay homage to a lot of the older. Rock metal bands, influences of us from not just rock though. I mean, like from all of our different influence of blues and jazz, and that's one of the fortunate things that I have as I would say like band leader. Although it's my band, it's just
Yeah,
because we're all like brothers. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But I'm very fortunate because I had this vision of what I wanted to do, and I think that Phase 4 uh, has been like is closest to that vision that I could say, and not to diminish any of the previous releases because I
yeah.
think they're all you have to walk through one door before you get to the other,
Of
right?
course, of course.
So they were all necessary, but I'm really proud of the material and all of the performances from all my guys. They just they're all a bunch of knuckleheads. And sometimes that's how families are. You can pick your nose and you can pick your butt, but you can't pick your family, right?
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's the thing is because I'm looking at your guys' discography, right? And this is the Phase 4, right? We're all coming up to, close to 10 years with the band. If from
This is our 10-year anniversary. Yeah.
10 years, there we go, there we go. And so that's something big, that's something to be celebrated. I think the way Phase 4 is a good cap off, especially if people who want to hear it. It's a good cap off to send, for the next parts of your guys' musical career, because like I'm a sucker for intros, right? And I like, you know what I mean, the way you guys already kind of had like a really good intro, kind of like a futuristic, machine kind of intro, where I was like, wow, like I was like, whoa, where am I at? Right. I'm
Right.
like, which was great, which is great.
Yeah.
And I think great bands, and I think great music like how you guys are producing, it's supposed to take you somewhere, right?
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
thanks. And
yeah.
I'm glad that you mentioned that because I have to chuckle about stuff because see
Oh,
the thing is like some of the guys in the band, like Billy, our bass player who's also does the artwork for the Phase 4. See,
yeah.
or not all our record covers, and it's supposed to be that way. It's an entertainment. We're
Yeah,
trying to create a comic book and a whole not just that, like all of our records have an intro. And
yeah,
that's something that again, that's what I wanted to do. All of
yeah.
our record covers have different comic book characters, if you want to call it that.
Uh-huh,
So
uh-huh.
and so all of them to tell a different story. And so it's serious, but being making fun in our own seriousness.
Yeah, yeah, because to be honest with you, that was actually kind of the vibe I was getting, right?
Cool,
Not that it was like it's over the top, right? Where, maybe like a Cannibal Corpse, or like a Metalocalypse, you know what I mean? But it was more of like, hey, like look at this, and then like, hey, but check out the music though. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Hey everybody, jumping in real quick just to let you know about today's sponsor Metal and Iron. Are you a gym goer? Do you like listening to metal? Do you like lifting heavy? Well, Metal and Iron's got you covered with shirts and designs that are there to let people know that you're about the heavy lifestyle. None of this Gymshark shit, none of this Adidas, Nikes, nah, you're there to lift the heavy shit. So check it out. Use the code Beyond Heavy for 15% off and let them know Mayhem sent you.
It's
Yeah,
just a comic book, and we're having fun, with that type of thing. Like a lot of the songs and the lyrics, we deal with some heavy stuff, I mean,
of course.
but I mean, we're not trying to be over serious about ourselves either. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I like the idea. It's actually my idea. And so when people
Oh,
like
nice.
pick on it, everyone's like, "Oh, what do you think?" I'm like, "I don't care. It's what I want to do." It's like I don't want to be too serious, for our own britches. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
so I mean, we've got to have some fun, and we do. I mean, when you look at our live performances, or well, just us in general, probably because like look at me, we're all a bunch of crackerjacks. I mean, fun and do stuff like that, but you know, um, so that's the whole thing. So I'm glad that you had mentioned that because I wanted to make sure people were clear. We're that's what our goal is as far
Yeah.
as the record covers. Is like every record it's supposed to be like getting that new comic book, and I know
Yeah.
we go back in old days, like where that was the thing, kind of like music. For us in the '70s, man, we couldn't wait to go to the record store and pick up the new record, and
Yeah.
then and then you read all the liner notes and stuff like that, and all the little, secrecies or whatever, however you say that, of
Yeah.
like the different people who performed on the records and stuff, and it's just cool.
Yeah, no, yeah, and that's what I was looking at your guys' catalog. It's just like, the artwork is out there. The artwork it catches you, and I'm a sucker for artwork,
Sure.
especially for my own band and everything like that, where it's got you got it because people listen with their eyes, right? People listen with their eyes, and that's why I was like, oh, let me check out Spillage, and I'm glad that we got when we got right now, that we're able to have this talk because, I kind of want to transition into your guys' sound. How is it working with Nick? Your other guitar player. I
Right.
want to, because what I'm hearing from, there's a lot of trade-off. I don't know if it's maybe just one guitar player, but if anyone takes the lead or the rhythm. But I was listening, I'm like, okay, there's a lot of bouncing back and forth, right? Talk to me about
Right.
that.
Well, as far as like the structure of the song, the first Spillage record, I wrote all of the lyrics and the music
Okay.
prior to all that getting together, except for the Cliff Richards cover. But then once we moved to Blood of Angels, and that's when Elvin Rodriguez had come in and Billy McGuffey had come in and solidified our original lineup. Now,
Mhm.
we had that's when we became more writing as a unit. Like Nick
Mhm.
would bring in like 4 songs. Well, actually, on Blood of Angels, 3 songs. We did Voice of Reason was Elvin's song that we recreated and put together. And then I had 4 tracks on
Okay.
this
Okay.
record. So we would bring in the structure of the musical pieces and talk to Elvin about like thoughts and like ideas. And Elvin is just a master lyricist. He's just great. And so he would craft these amazing pieces, sometimes within hours of us giving him music, which is
Yeah.
amazing. So that's how it is. So, but once we get the foundation of the songs, then we start to add the color. It's like
Ah.
like having a coloring book. You start with the outline. Here's the outline of it. Here's the direction that we're going, and then now let's put all the colors in there. And
Ah.
and that's where all of the other guys in the band, that's where all those influence, the jazz and the blues and the progressive influences come in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where then it becomes a Spillage song.
Yeah. Well, then that's what I'm saying because you guys complement each other very well. Right. And that's one of the things I've talked about with certain bands, right? Not all bands, but certain bands that have the two guitar players. You guys know how to complement each other. You guys know how to, and it shows in the music. And that's one of the things I want people to really kind of understand, especially if you're a young listener or maybe even an older listener. You know, it doesn't matter which type of cat you are. There's going to be those things where you got to listen to each guitar part, right? What's happening, right? The tone, the cadence, what's happening, right? And I think you and Eric, yeah, you guys do a fantastic job. You and Nick do a fantastic job. Like if like I was listening to the album so much, I think I was like, I think I know who Tony is, and I think I know which one Nick is. You know what I mean? And I was like left or right. You know what I mean? But
Right on.
but
Thank you
yeah,
so much, man, for
yeah,
recognizing that. You know, that's a lot of like what we're sometimes. Well, not sometimes. We always talk about sometimes less is more,
yeah.
especially with music and notes and then having to breathe. It's like I was talking with a young man today at church. Actually Nick's son. He's a fantastic percussionist, and I was telling him it's not playing all the notes, and it's
Yeah,
playing the notes properly where they fit through the music, because the
yeah,
music isn't just a freaking sewing machine, right?
exactly,
you know
exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
it has that swing. That's why we always got that swing, you know
Mhm.
what I mean? And so
You got to have the
that's where
shuffle.
the music comes in. There's a
Yeah,
good there's fabulous technical musicians, and I'm not hacking on them, Matt. Please hear me
yeah,
clear. Like
yeah,
those
yeah,
arpeggio cats and the shredder cats. I mean, that's some amazing musicianship, right?
yeah.
But we're just different than that. We're just,
Yeah,
and so
you have to have both. You have to have both, man. I can't stress that enough. And then when you have both of them come together, that's a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? Kind of like in my own personal band, with Burning Legion, and just to kind of referencing you guys, it's just like, I got one guitar player who's just like fast pounding all the time, and then I got another guitar player who's just very soft, very melodic, virtuoso. And it's like, well, why not have both of them come together? So that's why, like with you guys aren't, hey, the shredders or the over the top, let's just do arpeggios all the time. That's
right,
happening, You guys
right,
are like, hey,
right,
no, let's just live with the riff. You know what I mean? Let's have fun. Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Right, right. Yeah, but then that when you live in that area,
yeah,
then that gives you so much more room to go different places,
yeah.
and
It's
that's
you
where the
you could color
keyboard,
more.
when we're able to mix that keyboard sound in, and it becomes atmospheric.
Yeah,
We're trying to. I mean, trying to take you to maybe another place. I mean, and to be like, hey, don't get me wrong, I love it, but I love being in that motorhead hitting your face. Let's go, Roger.
yeah, yeah,
But I mean, I like melody and as well, and diversity.
yeah, yeah.
Strange age that we should talk like that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, and kind of transitioning into the other guys of the band, because I don't want to leave them out. I want to give them some love too, is because I think Chris and Billy are locked in. I think you guys have a really, really good rhythm section, and I don't want that to be lost because that's where you and Nick could flourish, right? You guys
Yeah.
could live in. I don't say this to a lot of bands because a lot of bands don't do it 100%, but it sounds like Chris and Billy really have it locked down in the sense of like, hey, we're the rhythm, and that Paul kind of comes in. And he's like, "Hey, I could go here or I could go there." You know what I mean?
With
And yeah,
multiple different instruments because
exactly.
he does multiple days. But I'm glad you had mentioned that as well, Matt, because let me tell you about Chris, our largest garden gnome guy.
Yeah,
He's a cracker jack. You want to talk? He like if you go to the post office, there's still a picture of him up there. Okay, but if I will say this, and not just because I love him and he's in my band, but he does rate with some of the top players as far as his transitions from piece to piece. Everything has a phrase.
yeah,
Everything has an answer to that phrase.
yeah,
Uh, each piece will evolve if you listen closely from first verse to second verse to third verse.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's an amazing. He is an amazing player, all in his own right. So go ahead. I'm with
No, no, I want to let you finish, but is he? Let me ask you. Let me ask you. I mean, he's not here, and you know him probably better than me, obviously. But
you.
is he a big Bill Ward fan?
Oh sure, yeah,
And I could hear it. You know why? Because he's more of an orchestrationist and a percussionist. You know, because I mean, yeah, he's got the groove. I mean, there's no question about it. But as you said, going from this section to this section to this section, he has different nuances, man. And I was like, man, I gotta ask if he's into Bill Ward. That's my band, Black Sabbath. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I mean, my guy, he's got it down,
Yeah.
and that's what I like about him too, about Chris, is that he's like, I'm not gonna go over top either, right? I'm gonna live with you guys. I'm gonna be where it needs to be. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Right. Yeah. No, and he embraces that. But we've been together for a long time. See, one of the special things again, Mike, about Spillage is that all of these guys, we've known each other for 40 plus years, though, man.
uh,
So and a lot of these guys, been playing together, on different things throughout that time. But I'm ADHD, man. So all these acronyms that we are. So let's keep me on track. So that's Chris, right? He's a monster back
yeah.
there. I mean, and it's a pleasure to jam with him over the years. It's been a pleasure to fight with him over the years because all right. He's like, I'm not a fucking machine, and it's like,
Yeah,
we're all
yeah,
like, hey, but I mean, but when you've been together for so long, I mean, that's what family is, right?
yeah, yeah,
But I can't overemphasize, if you get an opportunity to really do or any drummers out there to Matt, you would be hard pressed
yeah,
to not follow that cat as a player.
yeah, yeah.
I'm serious, and not just again, it's my stuff. As young drummers, anybody that he still plays an amazing style.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
I'll leave it there. Now, Billy McGuffey, the bass player that you had mentioned on there,
yeah,
great player, a big Rush guy, big progressive guy, the one thing that I wanted to make mention on this phase 4, I had done more of the production work. I was really producing this a lot
okay,
with Franklin in trouble. He was, because he's the main producer, but I had really wanted to be involved more on this.
yeah.
And I remember Doug Agee, the engineer at Alpha Sound Services, telling Billy, he looked up at him when he seen his charts.
Yeah.
He
Oh.
goes, this looks pretty ambitious bass playing. And
Yeah, well, yeah, yeah. And he sits right in the mix. He
yeah,
sits right in the mix with you guys. Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. Is he a finger player? Is he
Yeah,
a
yeah, no, it's all fingers. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Yeah. So again, more variety, that a different sound, a different hit, a different tone. That's going to add to what Spillage is, right? Because if we had a different bass player coming in with a pick, totally different sound, man.
Sure.
But either way, it sounds like he's really, really locked in,
Yeah, no,
with the drums. Like he's perfect with the drums, and that's what I love to hear with guys, especially with a lot of instruments, right? And I want to transition into that, asking you, right, as kind of the leader and the guitar player. I mean, is it hard to work with so many instruments, right? Is it difficult to kind of just sit there and write, or is it, hey, you know what? I've known these cats for so long, it's just kind of second nature now. Talk to
Well,
me about that.
for me, when I was growing up, I wanted to be a singer-songwriter. I wanted to be Harry Nilsson.
Okay. Okay.
Finding the coconut and all those
Yeah.
type of things. I was a big, Three Dog Night fan. So I like the big production. I like lots of sound. So for me, no, I mean, and all the stuff. I mean, I always
Wow.
hear those colors we were talking about. I mean,
Exactly.
like but so no, I mean, there's things that you know when some people like and this being in the business is like some people go, I've been working on this record for 3 years and I've been remixing it and doing all that. Well, a record is, they call it a record because it's a recording in time of who you are right then. You
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah.
so and so I like to be able to expand, with that, but different sounds and different, so yeah, no, it really isn't hard for me because
It,
sometimes, but what I have to balance is doing over too much.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what. That's why I took over a little bit more of the main production as producer as far as this record with the keyboards. We
Okay.
we've always had the keyboards in the band. Paul didn't always tour with us, but he recorded with us.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
and but there was always something at the end of the day that I always heard something else, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And I, not that I wasn't happy, because I had, Bruce Franklin of Trouble and Lothar Keller of, the Skull, and Qumran Records and Sacred Dawn, as engineers and all this stuff, and great people behind me. It was just that, and so I went out on a limb on this record to just say it's going to be what I hear: keyboard, very dominant. You can hear it from right off the bat, right off the
Oh
bat.
yeah. Oh,
It hits you right in the face.
yeah,
Right.
right away, right away. Because that's what I was like, whoa, okay, where am I at? You know what I mean? And I've talked about that with some of the other bands and some of my friends and some other buddies of mine, where I'm like, as soon as I hear a keyboard or anything, I don't want to say, like, as you said, prog or progressive. I'm like, whoa, where am I? Right? I have to ask myself that question. Where am I? Because I'm the 4/4 on the floor. You know what I mean? I'm that guy.
Right.
But that's why when I heard you guys, I was like, oh, this is different. It's still kind of like that four on the floor type of stuff, but with some different nuances, which I'm like, thank you, because some other bands don't do that. They're kind of just used to, like, hey, let's just have the guitar and the bass and drums, right? And you guys aren't afraid to, like, yeah, no, we got the keyboardist. Yeah, no, he's with us.
Right.
Like, he's there, But kind of like what you were saying in the beginning of this conversation was like, hey, that's where you live. Right, you live with the plenty of instruments, and not a lot of cats could say that, brother, especially in metal, right, or in hard rock, right, where it's
Right.
like, the people can't. It might be too much, right? We're like, I don't know keyboards. I don't know where to put that.
I
And
had been
you got
told
that
that.
creativity. Yeah.
Well, I had been told that. I mean, like a lot of people, when I was playing and showing them where I was going, I had a couple of those look over the shoulders. Are you sure?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But I'm totally sure, and it's today, Matt, everything, I've been talking about this for a bit. Everything is so extreme. Everybody's up at
yeah,
11 right now. And,
yeah,
and
yeah,
God bless them if that's where they're at. I'm not to judge. You go after it, man, if that's what you want to do. It's just, but, I still, think that there's, folks out there that are into, like, ambiance, riding the roller coaster. When I put a record together, I want it to sound like a roller coaster.
yeah,
I
yeah,
want to have different tempos. I want to have different key changes. I want to have different, songs. Everything can't be about skulls and death and killing and let's
yeah,
maul everybody.
yeah,
We got to talk about different things,
yeah.
and and if we can't do it, then it doesn't make the record, and that's.
Yeah, yeah. No, and that's the thing I was looking at as when I was listening to your guys' songs, it's like it's different. Again, it's not about, as you said, the skulls, death, and the negativity. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, one of my favorite songs was Love and Alchemy. You know what I mean? That's why I was like, okay, like this is different. It doesn't have to be negative all the time. And it's so refreshing to hear. And I want our listeners and I want other people to know, like, again, we you got your Slayers and your Behemoths and all that stuff, which is great, but like let's come back to, like, the Scorpions and the Journeys and the, like the classic stuff that we could talk about, positivity stuff, you know what I mean? And that's why I like you guys.
you know, Thanks. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it's still serious shit. I
It
mean,
is, yeah. Oh yeah.
but like, Love and Alchemy's pretty dark too.
Yeah, yeah. No, but I mean, but it's
But
but it gives it such a bright sound. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That's what it is. It's like, yeah, no, it's heavy. Like, don't get me wrong, it's heavy, but it's like you could still convey a message in a heavy way, a beautiful message in a heavy way, right? And that's what you guys did really, really good on this album, because I was listening a little bit of Electric Exorcist, the album prior, and I'm like, okay, this you guys kind of with Phase 4, you went up with production. You guys were like, hey, let's let's change things up a bit. But I want our listeners, in case they haven't heard, but how does Electric Exorcist compare to Phase 4? What does it mean to you? How is it different? Talk to me.
well, the Electric Exorcist came out in the middle of the pandemic, and at that time we were incredible. Well, we still are, but we're incredibly proud of that record. We have a couple of pieces on there that was considered and criticized maybe as epics
Mm,
songs.
okay.
Like Book of Secrets, about the Mary Shelley book, about Frankenstein. I mean,
Yeah.
but it's a story. I mean, it was a story, and that's a Nick Bozadarvich song. He wrote the music, and I mean, parts of it, and we all arranged it with his and then he had points for the lyrics, you know, and like with Elvin and like Liner, it's just of the book, you know, just the
Yeah.
storyline of how it would go on, and we were really we were incredibly proud of that piece. We still are. I mean, not we're, but we were just incredibly proud of it, and it just never came off for whatever reason. I mean, the production of it or whatever. I mean, the interlays, but that's where they started kind of saying that it was epic because it was only 7 songs and a cover because we did that cover, you know, Look at Yourself, the Uriah Heep tune on that
Correct. Correct.
as well. But so we got a little bit of criticism on that, but it came out of the middle of the pandemic, you know, shit that we were all dealing with,
Yeah.
and so it came out to a big thud. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I still wouldn't say it was. I mean, as a listener, right? And then this is just my unbiased opinion. It's just like it was, as you said, it was a record. It was a record in that time. It was the pandemic, right? But it gave more energy and it gave more life to Phase 4, right? Like it gave it more of like you guys have more of an ability on Phase 4 to kind of like, okay, let's reevaluate some things. Where are we as a band? Where are we production wise? And you could hear it. That's why I was like, hey, how does it sound different from for you as a person who created it, right? As a musician who was on those albums. Yeah,
Yeah, well,
yeah,
you know, we weren't able to get out and tour as much as normally we would, and so that
yeah,
was a different thing. And so, you know, well, as for everybody, the world just changed, you know, and so
yeah.
we just continued to rehearse and write songs, and you know, we were working on Phase 4, and you know, we had probably well a bunch of stuff together, but we had probably most everything together for Phase 4 prior to the release of Electric Exorcist because we had sat on that
Ah,
for a year
oh
during
wow.
the pandemic. You know, we were supposed to have we had this European tour all scheduled and then boom, and then everything
Yeah,
stopped. You know, and
yeah.
so
And
uh,
that happened to a lot of bands. It really
yeah,
threw a lot of momentum off, man. And then that's what that's it's a lot of unsung classics, if you know what I
yeah,
mean. Because I mean, it's not fair to that album, right?
yeah,
You know, to say like, oh, it was like a dud. It's not necessarily. It's just
yeah.
that's the way the world was going, you know. And then I'm assuming, I mean, because I haven't seen you guys live yet, but but I'm assuming you guys are playing some songs off that album, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Oh no. Yeah. You know.
yeah,
Well, you know. One thing I did notice though, Matt, is that
yeah,
with all of the because we've been getting a lot of attention for Phase 4, a lot of great reviews all around the world. I mean,
yes,
it's really gone over really well.
yeah,
But during those different reviews and different things, what I have noticed when you do the read between the lines stuff, you know,
yeah,
is I had noticed like them saying that following their epic or their great release of Electric Exorcist, you know,
yeah.
like following up or better than their outstanding Electric Exorcist. Now these are publications, all of them that didn't I never heard of, you
Yeah.
know. So, you know, but
Yeah.
so I guess we're getting a little bit of the accolades for that record on the coattails of Phase 4 because
Yeah.
the world has changed back open a bit. You know,
Exactly.
so
Exactly. And
I have noticed some of that.
yeah, no, and I've been following you guys and I know that Ben, you know, shout out to Ben Online Metal you know, Promotions,
Uh,
you know, who's kind of posting your guys' stuff and I'm seeing that. I'm like, "Oh, okay, look at these guys. Look at these guys. These guys are catching some fire. These guys are catching some heat. Let's go. Some
right on.
traction. I love it." You know, but I mean, I guess what you're trying to say and what the way I'm interpreting is like, you know, Electric Exorcist is getting that love eventually, right? It's coming in. Right,
Yeah,
which is good, which is great because I would hate, especially for you guys, I would hate to see, you know, a great album, you know, not be given the love it deserves. You know what I mean? You know, and like I said, I was catching some tracks on it. I was like, man, this is still good too, man. Like, like you know what I mean? Like, but Phase 4 came in and just like, you know, just
yeah.
revamped everything for you guys. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, thanks. Well, you know, it really all started with the Blood of Angels, at least for Europe. You know, Blood of Angels came out, and that you know took fire out
yeah,
in Europe. So that's why it was a little bit weird when Electric came out, and it did not happen. You know, so.
yeah.
But you know, something else that we did with Phase 4 is that we moved studios. So we were
Okay,
Electric Blood of Angels and Electric Exorcist was done at Qumran Studios, the label that we're on and that I'm part of, with Lothar Keller. And so on Phase 4, I wanted to have a more of live, brighter sound, you know, like a bigger, you know, type of a room-ish type of thing. So we moved back to Alpha Sound Studios with Doug Agee, which is where we recorded most of the first record,
Okay.
you know, the first act. And we did a couple of other ideas that Doug had for guitar tones and room sounds and really big, and so we went after that. And so and I'm really glad it just gave it a real live, bright freshness to it. So,
It did. And that's what I was saying. Production wise, it's a little bit different from where some of the these new cats are kind of coming. And even myself, I'll throw my hat in that. But it because the newer stuff, it sounds a little bit too processed sometimes.
uh,
A little too much, a little too much, a little too much. But you guys were able to keep it a little bit warm, a little bit bright, you know, which is great, which is great. And even with the vocals with Nick's or I'm sorry, Elvin's vocals, how it really, you know, he's kind of projecting, right? You could kind of hear him enunciate every word, right? And that's what I really like about your guys' sound is that not you know how some singers get kind of lost in the reverb, right?
sure,
You know, kind of, you know what I mean?
sure.
And yeah, so I think that's why not only for you guys getting all these accolades, but it's again the production is it's warm. It's warm. It's where it's at.
What's up, everybody? Want to jump in really quick to tell about one of my favorite brands and my brothers over at Heavy Defender Merch. Heavy Defender Merch products are a must-have for any heavy metal fan. Their banners, pins, and apparel is made from high-quality materials that feature bold, eye-catching designs that are truly to capture the essence of the metal lifestyle. The shirts are comfortable and durable as hell, man. The hoodies are perfect for when you're leaving the whiskey and it's fucking 2 o'clock in the morning, it's cold as shit. Heavy Defenders offers a great selection of products for any metalhead looking to represent their passion in freaking style. With unique designs and quality material, hey, check out HDM.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was our goal. That was our goal. You know, what happens, man, is that you know, back in the old days before digital, you know, it was tape, and so
Yeah.
you couldn't do too many redos on tape. You know,
Yeah.
you had two redos, and then it was messed up, and you know, then you clip it, and it was really expensive. You know, so
Yeah.
you know, like you couldn't do that, and then also the pitching, you know, perfection stuff wasn't really there.
Yeah.
Then along come Pro Tools. God bless him. If it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have all the spillage records that we have, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the thing is now you have all this pitch production and all this other stuff, and
Yeah.
now it's digital. So I can you know record one piece, and then it's you know pasting, you know, copy and paste. You know,
Yeah.
as long as you have your drummer that's on a meter, then
Yeah.
you know, and that's why everything's on a click. You know,
Yeah.
well, you know, what happens though is when you do too much of adjusting and too much of like timing adjustments and pitch adjustments, that's where that over process sound that comes in. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
everything comes up in the air. It's like one of those old Elisa's guitar processors where, wow, it sounded cool when you were in your bedroom, you know, because
Yeah.
you know, but you put it on stage and it's like, I can't hear shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know,
Yeah.
it's so like I said, I'm not criticizing one or the
No, no,
other.
no,
I'm just
no.
saying, but those are the realities of the world. I mean, there's the
Yeah.
way you want things to be, and there's the way it is, right?
Yeah, no, exactly, exactly. No, and then you know what's best for your band, right? You're gonna know what you want to do for your band, and then exactly, it's not to criticize anybody. If people like it that way, they like it that way, right? And that's not a problem. But I mean, that's as it pertains to you guys. That's what I'm saying. Kudos to you guys because it sounded warm. You know what I mean? And it takes me back to those like '90s records, those '80s records of like, hey, yeah, we might have had a metronome here and there, right? But you guys have an updated sound good enough where it's like, okay, this is where you guys are gonna live at, right? This is what this album's about, right? And a lot of and that's why I really gravitate to you guys because you don't hear that much nowadays, right? And that's okay. I mean, that's you know everybody wants to do their thing, but with Spillage, it's like oh, phase four is really where you kind of solidify where you guys want to go, right? And this is you guys
Hey,
kind of you put a stamp on it, yeah, yeah,
well, and you're absolutely right, man. Like I say, it's exactly where it was. It's like, as far as metronome, we start at where we're at, but like, here we are. I mean, each thing's gonna have a slower down piece or something up. I mean, we're just gonna try to stay within that. But sometimes the song calls. I mean, here we are, and then we're like, yeah, like a Demon Eye for a great
Yeah.
example. Everything's down and down. Everything's right here. And then all of a sudden it's like, and then now we're like, because now it's the out of control part,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like, and
You're
so
like, let's go
the
double
back and
time.
forth and the off time shit, and it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I mean, if we wanted to do that on a click, our engineer would be like, start calling us names and stuff like
Yeah, man. No, I mean, again, it's a good album. It's an important album. I think it's an important album for 2023, right? For people to hear, But I want to ask you, what's the future though, Tony? Right? What's coming up are we gonna get new spillage because Phase 4 is fresh? What's in
well,
the woodwork?
that's one of the other things I'm blessed with these crazy guys is that you know we're gonna support this phase four for 2024. We're gonna hit it hard, but Nick and I both. He has a couple of Nick is a machine. Like Rise the Machine. That
Oh
too.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
the machine. Like
Ah,
he'll push out shit. Like songs and and I'm like, God bless you. I love it.
yeah, yeah.
But but so we have a couple of new pieces already in the works.
Nice, nice.
He has a few. I have maybe two that I'm really excited about. Other songs that didn't make some of the other records as well. We've refined. You know how it is, man.
Yeah, oh,
We do the
yeah,
same thing. So,
yeah.
because some stuff is good. It's just for whatever reason it's not ripe yet.
It's
The
not it's
fruit needs a little bit more ripening.
I
So,
best way to describe it, man. That's the best. It's a ripple in time. It's a ripple in time. It's like, you know what? I love this piece, but not yet. Right? We could do more, right? The future has a little bit more for this, right? And I think that's where you guys are at. Like, hey, we got some material, but hold on just a second.
and we're trying
Yeah.
to find a way to stay prevalent in this crazy new world because
Yeah.
physical merchandise isn't where it's at now.
Yeah.
People don't buy stuff. I mean, we struggled there because that's where we made our money prior. I mean, it's great to have all these what is ever the streaming stuff, and
Yeah.
it's great to have 7,000 listeners and stuff. But I
Yeah.
mean, make any money off it. It doesn't help us when we need to pay for a hotel room or
Yeah,
something.
no, exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, I think with your guys' success, I think it's still coming, right? There's no there because I don't see, yeah, I don't see the spillage train slowing down anytime soon, especially if we got new material, right? Yeah, we got to adapt here and there, right, to maybe merchandise or sales or whatever it may be. But I know I think you guys are confident in your guys' abilities and your guys' music to be like, hey, no, no, we're still here. We're still gonna rock it. We're still gonna do what we got to do,
Yeah, I was thinking
especially
about
after
maybe
phase
like
four.
taking some pictures, like some provocative pictures. What do you think?
Yeah.
Like 50
Instead of OnlyFans, it's
Hey man,
OnlyPants.
my grandson gets like 300 likes on my thing. I get like I post a video, it's like 12 people, the same 12 people like me each time. But my
Same here.
grandson's a rock star.
It's how it is, man. It's how it is. It's the way the world is going, brother. The
Yeah.
way the go it is, man. But Tony, brother, I gotta put a pin on it today, brother. I
Yep,
hate to
yep.
do it. I hate to do it, but I could talk to you for another hour, brother. But I feel like let's get the other members on here, man. I love to get some other band. I want to see what's going on with the Spillage camp. You know what I'm saying? So we'll go from there. But Tony, I want to thank you so much for your time, brother. I love shooting the shit. I'm glad that we got to talk about your album, your guys' stuff, but where can people find you, Tony? Where can people find Spillage? Where can they buy maybe merchandise? Where can they find you?
Well, all things spillage at spillage-online.com. You can also find us. You Google spillage. It's here. If you Google, go to YouTube Spillage Rocks. We got I think 80 or 90 videos of lyric videos, music videos, live videos, tours that we've done all around. We're on it, all the formats. If you can't find us there, then you Google Tony Spillman and you go, what's going on?
Yeah. Or you come to be on the heavy, and then I'll put you in the right direction. How about
That's
that?
right. Yeah. Hey, man, I appreciate you and your support. And anytime you'd like to have us on, I'll hook you up with that crazy Puerto Rican I was telling you about, Elvin Rodriguez, next time. You know, we'll have a good, you know, he's crazy. He's like, yeah, man, he'll make you laugh because he always smiles all the time. Like,
No, it's all good, man. And I think it'd be important to have, around two. I always like to bring the bands back, right?
right.
Just so we could have more to talk about, right? I think, some bands might be like, or some people might be like, oh, like you guys didn't talk about this, or hey, there was a crazy story here. Hey, well, there's always a round two, right? There's always more opportunities, right? It's always a networking and having a relationship, right?
Right.
That's
Well,
what
and if you're gonna have a cooking show, I'll get you like the world's largest garden because he's cooked too.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah.
Fridge, yeah, and a
I
big whatever the big thing is with wood and stuff. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That's
So
my bearded brother. That's my bearded brother. Is what I'm seeing. Yeah, yeah.
you'll love it.
He's how I
You
got.
gotta jamming out with that cat.
Man, how tall is Chris? I gotta ask you. How tall? He looks like a big dude.
No, he's about 7'3", I think.
Jesus Christ.
No, I'm just kidding on you. I'm just kidding. Yeah, he looks like 7'3", you know.
Yeah.
He's a regular cat. He's pretty big. I would say maybe about 6'2", 6.
Oh, so he's like my size. He's like 6'2", 6'3".
Right
Yeah.
in there. Yeah,
He's a
right.
big dude. He's a big dude. I'm looking at your bad pictures. I'm like, damn, this is a big cat right here. This is a big drummer. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought he was your bodyguard. I thought he was your security and stuff.
Well, we had some of those tours.
Yeah. Tony, brother, we can laugh it up all day, brother. I appreciate your time, man. Thank you so much, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you.